So here we are, the reveal of Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War multiplayer. And earlier today, I already made one video discussing every single weapon that is in the multiplayer so far for Black Ops Cold War. And this video is going to be going even deeper. This video is essentially going to be diving into every nook, cranny, corner of Black Ops Cold War, telling you everything that's new, everything that's returning, basically all of the features and all of the questions that you guys have about the game. I'm going to try to answer them in this video. Now, I'm sure there's going to be some things that I miss, and if I do, I'm going to be doing a Q&A over on Twitch at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight. There's going to be Black Ops Cold War gameplay, and I'm going to be talking to you guys about any questions you may have about the game, and hopefully I'm able to answer them. So if you want to check that out, if you have any questions, my Twitch is the first link down in the description. Now, as far as this video goes, we are going to go over everything, ranging from Scorestreaks, create a class, Gunsmith, maps, game modes, basically you name it. I'm going to try to go over as much as possible to answer as many questions as possible in this video. It is a very deep dive. It's probably going to be a long one, but hopefully it has all of the information you've been wondering about. So I have a ton to talk about, so let's just jump into it. So to start things out, let's just look at the basics that are on the screen, basic movement mechanics and things that have changed that way. So first things first, up in the top left-hand corner, we have the minimap. This minimap is more along the lines of the classic Call of Duty minimap, where if your enemies aren't using a suppressor and they shoot, they show up on the minimap. You can see where they are, just like the way we like it and are used to it. I'm very happy to see that return. In the middle of the screen, we have the compass. This was taken from Modern Warfare. It's often used in battle royales, nothing too special there. Then you have the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. That is your health. So each player has 150 health. That is your health bar. You can see how much health you have left. There's no numbers, unfortunately. I really love to see the number of health you have left. The other thing you're going to notice is if you look at a teammate or you look at an enemy, they also have a health bar above them. So you know how much damage you have to put out to kill them and how much damage you have left on your character. Down in the bottom right-hand side of the screen, we have, of course, your score streaks up on the top, your ammo counter, your lethal tactical grenade, and then your field upgrade. When we talk about create a class, we'll dive a little bit more into all of those things, but for now, that is what you're seeing on your screen. So the next thing I wanted to briefly dive into is the new movement mechanics, or kind of new movement mechanics. So first of all, sliding is back, but it's not like it was in previous games. You can slide, and you slide actually a really large distance, but you can't slide cancel. If you do slide cancel, it takes away all your momentum. So it's not the same as it is in Modern Warfare or previous games. And I kind of like that because the slide distance is really long, but you can't use it and try to exploit it like you can in previous games. Now, I don't know if that's a bug or if that's the way they intended it, but that's the way it is in the build of the game that we played. Now, on top of this, swimming is also back in the game. This has been in the past few Black Ops games. I believe Black Ops 3 and Black Ops 4 both had it, and it's no surprise that it returns in this game. It feels just like the swimming in previous Black Ops games. The other thing that I noticed is fall damage is much less than it was or is in Modern Warfare. In Modern Warfare, if you fall out a window in the second story, your character has no knees and you immediately die. Whereas this game, I was jumping out of 3-4 story areas and taking damage, but being just fine. Now, on top of this, another cool thing that we have is vehicles. So on one map, we had boats. On another map, we had snowmobiles and tanks. We're going to dive into that a little bit more when we look at the various different maps. In fact, that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to look at the different maps and game modes that we got to play. So the first map and mode that we had here is Armada Domination 12v12. So this one was known as Combined Arms, or basically like Ground War from old Call of Duty games. And this map is literally 3 boats in the middle of the ocean. Now, it sounds like old school Ground War, but it's not. Domination 12v12 is different from anything we've seen before, whereas there's 5 flags instead of 3. On top of that, there are a ton of vehicles, and the maps are just bigger. I don't know how I feel about this game mode. I don't know if the maps are too big, how the vehicles feel. Personally, I'm not a big fan of vehicles with weapons on them. And for example, on Armada, there are boats that literally have miniguns on them. Now, in each spawn, there are also turrets, and the turrets are pretty strong. They're good at taking out score streaks. They're good at taking out the boats. And like I said, they're just really strong. Now, there's also Sea-Doos or jet skis, whatever you call them. These are kind of more maneuverable, faster, and they're just kind of are easy to get around on. Now, I will say, I haven't talked about this yet, but the movement mechanics on vehicles in this game are not like Modern Warfare. Warfare. They go back to what it was in Blackout, where you just use the thumbsticks to steer your vehicle and move forward and back. You don't have to hold the trigger to move forward like you do in Modern Warfare. Now, I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing. I just thought I would point it out. Now, on top of this, on the map, there are zip lines to get from the outside boats to the middle boat. The middle boat has 3 flags, whereas the outside flags are actually in the water. Out of any of the maps that we played, this is by far the most different. There was a ton of water, and you have to use vehicles or zip lines to get to the main area. It's different. I don't fully know how I feel about it. I've only played 3 games on it. It's definitely an interesting map, and I'm curious to see what people are going to think of it once this comes out either in a beta or the final game. Now, the second one we have here is much more straightforward. It's Satellite Kill Confirmed. So Satellite is the new map. It's, I guess, a crashed satellite from outer space that's landed in the desert, and that is where you are playing. Kill Confirmed is a game mode that we've had in many games before. I shouldn't need to explain that. Now, as far as this map, this was actually my favorite one that we played. It was by far the smallest, in my opinion, and there was just the most action on it, so I really enjoyed that. Now, the weird thing about this is we played this map as a 6v6 map, and in the trailer that they put out, that they had the little teaser of multiplayer, they had dune buggies on this map. So I don't know if there's going to be like a bigger version of it for 12v12, but as of right now, it's kind of a mystery. But as I mentioned before, this is probably my favorite map that we played. I should also mention that we did also play Hardpoint on this map, so that will be returning as well. No surprise there. The next thing that we played was Domination on the map called Miami. This, in my opinion, was the best looking map by far. It had like the neon signs, the sun was setting. It was just a really cool looking map. It was a little bit larger, more buildings, more kind of windows you can look through. All in all, I think it's a good domination map. It might be a little bit too big for TDM, but I really enjoyed this map. And like I said, probably the best looking map. The one other thing that I should say about Domination is that in this game, Domination stops halfway and you switch sides. So this is the way it's been in a couple Black Ops games before. It kind of switches out. Sometimes you just play all the way through. In this game, it stops halfway through and then you switch sides. The next map that we have here is Moscow. We played both Team Deathmatch and the game mode called Control on this map. Control is essentially where you have to attack 2 objectives, but both teams have a limited number of lives. It was a game mode in Black Ops 4. As far as this map goes, I actually really enjoyed this map too. It's a great 6v6 map, a lot of indoor area, so those aerial score streaks won't do as good, but I honestly like the pace of this map. It felt pretty good, pretty aggressive style map, so good to see. And then the last map that we have here is called Sniper Heaven. Okay, sorry, no, it's called Crossroads. This one takes place in like kind of like a winter tundra area. First of all, there are vehicles on this map, there are snowmobiles, and there are tanks. Now, the snowmobiles are great. I think getting from point A to point B, it's a pretty big map. They're kind of necessary on the map. The tanks are really annoying. They are one-shot kills almost constantly. The blast radius is huge, and I honestly think this map would play a lot better in 12v12 with 0 tanks. That's just my opinion. Maybe you think otherwise. You'll have to wait to play it, but that was just my experience with it. All in all, though, the map is beautiful, and it's great for snipers. If you're a long-range gunfight player, you'll really enjoy this map. Now, I'm going to have a video with my opinions more so in it probably later this week, but the one thing I will say about the Domination 12v12 is that there's no way to squad spawn, and you can't pick which flag you spawn at. I think it would greatly improve this game mode if you could do that, and maybe they'll implement that later on, but in the build we played, you could not do that. Now, there was also another game mode that we played on this map. For some reason, I didn't record it. I don't know why. The game mode is called VIP. It's the one new game mode that we could play. It's kind of like Search and Destroy, where you have to escort one of your teammates to an extraction zone. In this game mode, you get downed so your teammates can revive you. I personally didn't love the game mode. I found it a little bit too slow. I would rather just play Search and Destroy. I'm curious what other people are going to think of it, though. I'm sure it'll be in the beta when that eventually comes out. But as of right now, not my favorite, but the map is really cool looking. So unfortunately, I'm not able to show you any menu footage just with the NDA that I signed, but I can show you what a created class looks like in-game, explain it to you, show you what perks are, show you what wildcards are, and also explain the Gunsmith to you. So this is what a class looks like in Black Ops Cold War. So the basic breakdown is you have your primary and secondary weapon, which can both have 5 attachments on it, similar to Modern Warfare. Gunsmith does exist, which we'll look at a little bit more in a second here. After this, you also have a lethal grenade, tactical grenade, and a field upgrade. We're going to dive into those field upgrades in a minute as well. After this, as you can see here, I have 6 perks, but normally you only have 3. The reason why I have 6 is because that is the wild card that I'm using. It allows me to use 1 extra perk in each slot, which is mind-blowing. That's an insane wild card. So as you can tell, this is not the pick 10 system, not the pick 10 system whatsoever. You can obviously have 3 perks and a wild card pretty much no matter what, and use as many attachments pretty much as you want. By the way, there is another wild card which actually allows your primary weapon to have 8 attachments. Again, we'll look at that more in a second. Now we are going to dive deeper into Gunsmith and create a class in a future video, but you can kind of get a good idea of what it looks like here. They showed this on the live stream that was earlier today, and you can see all of the different attachments that are available for the different slots of different weapons, and they really let you customize the gun the way you want it. And as I said before, you can have 5 attachments per weapon, and there is another wild card that allows you to have up to 8, so you can really customize it the way you want to. But as you can see, as you scroll through the attachments, each one tells you exactly what it does to the weapon you're putting it on, which kind of gives you an idea of which is going to be best for your playstyle. Now moving into a little bit more of the nitty gritty, first of all, with field upgrades, the 4 that were available to us, I don't know if there's going to be more at launch, were Proximity Mine, Field Mic, SAM Turret, and Jammer. So SAM Turret obviously shoots down helicopters, things like that. Proximity Mine is a proximity mine. I actually like that it's a field upgrade so they can't be spammed. Field Mic is one that you lay down and it'll show you when someone's running by you on the minimap. And then finally, Jammer does the same thing, but instead of showing you, it jams the enemy's radar. Honestly, most of these I kind of found a little bit useless. The Field Mic might be okay if you use it a little bit more, but honestly, I didn't find any of them really game-changing. As far as our first perks go, nothing special here. Engineer, Tac Mask, and Flak Jacket, all things we've seen before in previous COD games. As far as perk 2 goes, once again, some things we've seen before. First of all, we have Scavenger, Tracker, and then Quartermaster, which is basically restock for Modern Warfare. Then we have perk 3. So this one's a little bit more interesting. So first of all, Cold-Blooded is straightforward. After this, we have Ghost, which is the good ghost, where you're only undetectable if you are actually moving. I'm glad to see that. And then finally, Ninja, where you sprint more quietly. That's the description of it. So from experience, you can still hear people's footsteps that are using Ninja. They're just a little bit more quiet. I'm hoping they might give that a little bit more of a buff once the beta comes out, but you'll have to see for yourself once you actually get your hands on the game. And then I think most importantly, the wild cards. So first of all, you have Perk Greed, which equips 3 extra perks. That's what I mostly used. With the limited amount of perks we could use, it almost let us use all of the perks, so you have 6 perks total. Gunfighter unlocks 3 additional attachment slots. That's the one we were talking about before, where your weapons can have 8 attachments. Lawbreaker, equip any weapon in either slot and equip any perks. So basically with this, you can have 2 primary weapons, 2 secondary weapons, and use perks from any slot. They're not given to perk 1, 2, or 3. And then finally, Danger Close, equip an extra lethal and tactical equipment, and you start with maximum ammo. I think that's probably the weakest of the 3. Now, the other thing that you should know is that you can edit your loadouts mid-game like you can in Modern Warfare, which is good to see. But now I want to talk about probably the most controversial thing in the game, the Scorestreak system, the new Scorestreak system. So this is an interesting one. So first of all, you probably noticed from watching the gameplay, when you get a kill, you only get about 50 score, which seems low, and it is low. On top of this, the other thing that you may have noticed is that assists once again count as kills. So this is the same thing that they did within Black Ops 4. Instead of getting assist points, you just get a kill as long as you helped with a kill. So that's actually the same system that we saw inside Black Ops 4. What's different is all kill streaks, or score streaks, sorry, inside Black Ops Cold War stack even when you die. So if you're going for a chopper gunner, you can die 50 times and still get a chopper gunner in a game if you just get a whole bunch of score. And you can get score from capturing objectives, getting dog tags, playing the objective in various different game modes. Now here's what I will say is, when I started playing this game and realized that, I hated it. I thought it was a terrible idea, but as I played the game more, I started to kind of make sense of it. So let me explain that. So first of all, if we look at all of the score streaks on screen here, you can see that their values are pretty high. For example, 800 score for a UAV, 6,000 for a chopper gunner at the very end there. That is 60 kills if kills are 100 points per kill. And as we've talked about, they're 50 points per kill. So that would be 120 kills. But what you have to understand is, first of all, you get score from capturing objectives and all that jazz. But the big thing that makes this all tie together is the fact that when you go on kill streaks, you actually get a multiplier. So the multiplier goes up the longer of a kill streak that you're actually on. So if you're on 6 kills, I believe it's a 6 times multiplier. And this actually makes it so that better players can earn these kill streaks way, way faster than these crappy players. And I think a lot of the ways people are going to look at this is that this is kind of catering towards noobs, and I don't know if that's the case. I get that people are skeptical about it. I get that some people aren't going to like it, but I'm curious, once you guys get your hands on the game and actually play the beta, what you actually think of this, because this is probably the biggest innovation to Scorestreaks we've seen in a really long time, and it's going to be interesting. I don't know if it's going to be good or bad, but I understand it now, and that changes it a little bit. So let me know what you think. Now, just as a final summary of some other things that I didn't cover, in this build of the game, there was no doors, which I really liked. There was no mounting, which I also really liked. On top of this, there was no seemingly weapon inspects, which I didn't like. On top of this, I noticed that in the menu of the game, there was an option for theater mode. Now, I didn't get to use it or anything like that, and this is an alpha, so there's a chance that it won't be there in the final build. But from what I noticed, it looks like it's going to be there, which makes making videos for me a lot easier, so hopefully that stays around. But this is basically all the information we know. The one other thing that we got today in the live stream is a new game mode called Fire Teams. It appears to almost be kind of like Spec Ops that we have in Modern Warfare. You drop in with a team of 4, you have a mission to do. The mission that they told us in this one was called Dirty Bomb, and you kind of carry it out that way. Now, I don't know if that's exactly what it's going to be. Hopefully that's not replacing zombies, but as of right now, that was all of the information we were given about that in the live stream. But ladies and gentlemen, if you have any more questions, feel free to check out the live stream tonight down in the description. That'll start at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have plenty more videos coming throughout the rest of the week, so if you're not already subscribed to the channel, make sure you do so. Turn notifications on, all that good jazz, and let me know what you think of all of this down in the comments. But if you enjoyed, hit that like button, and until next time, peace out.
We are reaching for the stars, but we're making this too hard, and I want